All right. A prism is a type of polyhedron. Now, a prism, you gotta get some toys out here. This is not a prism. Do you know why this is not a prism? This is a prism. This is not a prism. The ends are closed. Both have a top and a bottom. Ooh, Andrew said this is circular. If it has circles, it's not a prism. Okay? So, this is a prism. It's a polyhedron with two congruent parallel faces called bases. A base at the top, base at the bottom. All the sides are rectangles. Okay? And this. It has to be at least parallelograms, but if it's going to be standing straight up and down, then they become rectangles. Okay? So base is the top and the bottom. A lateral face is the sides. So this one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lateral faces. Okay? 6 lateral faces. Look how it changes color. That is really cool. Yeah. Okay. The altitude is the perpendicular distance between the bases, which is also in this case the height, the distance between the bases. Okay. Lateral area is the area of all the sides, not the top and the bottom, just the sides. The surface area is the area of all the sides plus the top and the bottom. Okay. This is a right prism because it stands straight up and down. An oblique prism is like the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Okay. An oblique prism. Oops, I need my stylus, which is back on my desk somewhere. An oblique prism would look kind of like this, Oops. Kind of leaning over, but that's still not a very good drawing. It's like that. It's kind of leaning to the side a little bit versus a right prism that is straight up and down. That's a right prism, straight up and down. Okay? A cylinder is not a polyhedron. It has circles as the bases. And a right cylinder is straight up and down. An oblique cylinder is kind of leaning like that. Okay, that's an oblique cylinder. Things that you need for your note card are this. I'll zoom in a little bit. A right prism. The lateral area is the perimeter of the base times the height. So P stands for perimeter here. So the lateral area of a right prism is perimeter of the base times the height. The surface area of a prism is the lateral area, the perimeter of the base times the height, plus 2 times the area of the base. Capital B is the area of the base. So make sure you get all those little notes down too. And the volume of a right prism is the area of the base times the height. Now, we're not going to do all of this today, but this is just good stuff for the note card. A pyramid has this thing called a slant height, and we'll talk more about periods and pyramids another day. But a pyramid has a slant height going on, okay? And so the lateral area of a pyramid is the area of all the triangles, which is 1/2 the perimeter of the base times the slant height. 1/2 the perimeter of the base times the slant height. And the surface area is the area of the base plus the lateral area, or the area of the base plus 1/2 PL. And the volume, when you get to pointy objects, it's 1/3 the area of the base times the height. So the volume of a prism is the area of the base times the height. A pyramid, since it goes to a point, is 1/3 the area of the base times the height. The important thing with a pyramid is the slant height. And slant height is L in this book. A cylinder. The lateral area of a cylinder is 2 pi RH. 2 pi r is the circumference, which is the perimeter of the base. So basically, the lateral area of a cylinder is the same as the lateral area of a prism. It's the distance around the base times the height, the perimeter of the base times the height. But we say 2 pi r because that gives us more information, makes life easier. Surface area of a cylinder is 2 pi r squared because there's a top and a bottom. They're both circles. The area of a circle is pi r squared, so it's 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. And the volume of the whole thing is the area of the base, pi r squared, times the height. So the cylinder is the exact same formula as a right prism, okay? But we just use 2 pi r and pi r squared where it says area of the base or perimeter of the base. A cone, the lateral area of a cone is pi r L. Pi r L. Pi times the radius times the slant height. Surface area of a cone is 1/3 pi r squared, because it's 1/3 the area of the base. Whoa, wrong, Bierschbach. It's pi r L plus pi r squared, sorry. And the volume is 1/3 pi r squared. 1/3 the area of the base. Okay, so that's a cone. We'll have a few more formulas adding on this chapter, but we'll stop there for now with the formulas because we won't use them all today. We'll only use cylinder formulas, some of the cylinder formulas, and some of the prism formulas today. All right. So now, when you're doing the problems today, you got to read carefully. Sometimes it'll ask for the lateral area, sometimes it'll ask for the surface area. Okay? So you got to know how to read to figure out what it's asking for. Surface area of a prism. Surface area of a prism, if we write down the formula, it's the perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. Now, the perimeter of the base, this is 10 by 3, and then you'll have another 10 and another 3 here. What's perimeter of the base all the way around? 26. The height is 7. 2 times the area of the base. To find the area of the base, we just take 10 times 3. Length times width. Okay? William, I don't think you're going to learn the thing doing whatever you're doing on your computer. All right. So then, how do we finish this? Okay? We just use our calculator. Okay? Just punch the numbers into our calculator. 26 times 7 is 162, right? 26 times 7? No, I was wrong. 182? Yeah. And 2 times 30 is 60. So this is 242, right? All right. So I trust that you can do the math part of it. It's just the setting up of it is the stuff that we got to work through. Okay? Surface of a cylinder. Surface area of a cylinder. Surface area is 2 pi r h plus 2 pi r squared, right? So it's 2 times pi, the radius is 9, the height is 3, plus 2 times pi times 9 squared. It says type an exact answer in terms of pi. Do not hit the pi button on your calculator. Okay? Just take 2 times 9 times 3, which is 54 pi, plus 9 squared is 81 times 2 is 162 pi. 54 plus 162 is 216 pi. Okay? Just leave pi as pi. So this one is no different than the first one. Gives you the same types of numbers, so I don't even need to go through that one. This one is one that confounds a lot of people. What's my base here? Is it 24 times 17? Is that the base of this object? And the answer is no. This is actually a picture of a prism laying on its side. The bases of a prism are the shapes that aren't rectangles. Okay? The shapes that aren't rectangles. So these triangles are the bases of the prism. Okay? So if we want to find the lateral area of the prism, it's the perimeter of the base times the height. Okay? So I got to figure out the perimeter of this triangle here. Well, it's a right triangle, right? The hypotenuse is 17. This side is 15. How do I find my missing side? When you have a right triangle, how do you find a missing side? Pythagorean Theorem. 17 squared equals 15 squared plus a squared. So 289 equals 225 plus a squared. We subtract 225 from each side. We get 64 equals a squared. Take the square root of each side. 8 is equal to a. So this is 8. So the perimeter of the base times the height is 8 plus 15 plus 17. That's the perimeter of the base. The height is the distance between the triangles, the two bases. So that's 24. So 8 and 15 and 17 is 23 plus 17 or 40 times 24, which is 960. Okay, the surface area equals the perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 times the area of the base. Well, we already know the perimeter of the base times the height is 960. So then we have to take 2 times the area of the base. To find the area of the base, it's the area of the triangle. An area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. Which is 60 in this case. So it's 2 times 60, which is 120 plus 960 is 1080. Okay, so there it takes a little bit of work to get through some of these. Okay, some of these are a little harder than the others. Lateral area of a cylinder. Lateral area of a cylinder is 2 pi RH. Well, in this case, we take 2 times pi times the radius is 2, because this is the diameter when it's drawn all the way across, times 16, or 64 pi. The surface area of a cylinder is 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. 2 pi 410 plus 2 pi 4 squared, or 80 pi plus 32 pi, which is 112 pi. Okay, I'm going to skip over that one. A triangular base prism. We just had one of these not long ago, and it was laying on its side. I'll draw one standing up. Okay, it has edges of 5, 6, and 7. It has a lateral area of 288. Now, the lateral area of a prism is the perimeter of the base times the height. So 288 must equal the perimeter of the base. 5 plus 6 plus 7 is 18 times the height. Then you just divide by 18 on each side. So if we divide by 18, we get, what, 16? 16 centimeters at the height. Okay, they made this problem hard. It says, what's the approximate surface area of the label if they wrap a label around a can, but it's not the top and the bottom? So really what they're looking for is lateral area on this problem, because the area of the label is the lateral area. Okay, they should have just said, what is the approximate area for the label, not the surface area for the label, because that confuses people. So this is the lateral area, which is 2 pi RH, or 2 times pi times the radius is 2.5, the height is 4. So it's 20 pi. Okay? If we wrap this around the x-axis, it becomes a what? What is that shape sitting on its side? A cylinder. It is a cylinder. And then to find the area of it, the radius is this. This is a radius. Well, the radius looks like it's 8 long. The height is this. Looks like it's 6. Okay? So the surface area of this is, come on, slide down a little bit. There you go. Is 2 pi RH plus 2 pi r squared. We said this is a radius and this is a height. So it's 2 times pi times 8 times 6 plus 2 times pi times 8 squared. And that is it. Okay? So you will stay fairly busy in this class period today. All right. Tomorrow in here, we will be doing smarter balance, not smarter, but NWEA. Okay, NWEA tomorrow.